In this tutorial, we are going to work on the Smitty Snap Towel. So if you get a kit from the Quilt a Cow, or if you buy your own, it'll be enough for 2 towels. So if you're buying your own supplies, there's what you'll need, and this is what it will look like. And so I happened to buy, of course, my kit from the Quilt a Cow. It came with the snaps. You don't need a tool for these. You just use your fingers and they'll snap together. I bought this beautiful fabric line. My towels are there. And I have cut my 4 pieces, so 2 of them will make 1. So what I've done is before I cut them, I took the fusible interfacing and I fused it to this fabric. After it was all fused, then I cut to the size that I need. And then the first step after that is to fold in each side so much according to the pattern. So you don't do this to all sides, you just do that to 2 sides. So I took my hot ruler, folded that in, and gave it a good press, and I did that to all of my pieces. And now we're going to start attaching things. Alright, so after that, I took 2 of my pieces and I put them right side together, and this is like folded part to folded part, and here's the folded part to folded part. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this to the machine, and the sides that we didn't fold under, I'm going to stitch down a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to do it on this side, and I'm going to stitch down this side 1/2 inch seam allowance. And then when I'm done, I'm going to take that seam and trim it so it's only 1/4 inch. Okay, so I'll do that now. Alright, so here I have my, and on this side I forgot, I said it in the video 1/2 inch, and then I went with 1/4 inch, but then I had to recorrect it. But anyway, once you have the 1/2 inch, then you're just going to take your ruler and you're going to line that up with the seam that you just did, and you're going to trim it so it's only 1/4 inch in bulk. And so I will do that here on the other side as well. Alright, so there we go. Next step is to turn this right side out. So we'll just stick our hand through, turn it right side out here. And then I'm going to take this over to the iron and give this a really good press and make sure my seams are rolled out and that everything is just pressed really well. So the next part is just taking your towel and folding it however you want to, and so it is a certain width, and it gives you between so much measurement that your towel should be. So this is the back. I always flip it over to the back, and then I start my folds and then do my last fold, and I put some clips in it. So this is what it's going to look like from the front. And I'm going to take this over and I'm going to baste or just run a stitch close to the top of this raw edge where I cut my towel in half to hold everything, all my pleats together. Alright, so I have the back of my towel facing down, and this is the top, and all I've done is open up the side, and I've just put my towel up in there. You can see my basting right there, my basting line, and it's probably about 1/2 inch or so, but once it's in, try to make sure it's even, and then I'm just gonna like put a few clips there to hold it, and you can pin if that is what you want to do. And then you're gonna take it to your machine and you're gonna top stitch all the way down close to the folds, and if you want to do 2, you can do 2, or you can just do 1. And then after that, you're gonna come up to the top, and this is still open, and then you're going to top stitch that closed as well. About 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch. You can choose. Or do a decorative stitch if you want. You can do a decorative stitch here, and you can do a decorative stitch up there. It's totally up to you. Alright, gonna go do that now. Alright, so that is what it looks like so far. I've got my stitch there, it's holding everything together, and there is the top part. So now we're gonna install the snaps. Alright, so now we're going to install the stud snaps, which are these guys, and then you'll need like the flat bottom ones too to go along with that. And we're going to install this on the bottom here, and then so I've measured up. It's the same measurement from the side and up. So I measured up, made a line, then I measured from the side in, and then I just put a line so I know where they intersect. And then that point right there where they intersect is where I'm going to make my hole. And I am going to do that. It might be easier if you have a different tool. I forget what they call it, like an awl or something, but I'm just going to use my seam ripper and just be really careful and make a hole big enough for that to fit in. And then we're going to go and measure where the top should be and then install the other side of the snap. So once you have that part poking through, so there's the back flat part of it, and this is the inside of my towel. Then you just take, I'll lay that down. Just take your stud here, and you're going to use that side, and you just align everything, and if your fingers can't give it enough pressure, then use the back of my seam ripper and press down and it should snap. There we go, and it's installed. And so now I'm going to go, sorry, it's a little blurry, it's hard to focus. So now I'm going to go install the other two up here. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to turn this, and you're going to want to fold this down so the edges meet. And then you're going to use your finger to kind of feel where you installed that, and then you're going to make your marking on that because you want your snaps to like line up, or you can peel it back this way very carefully and make your mark there because you want those. It's very important that those line up. So, all right. All right, I'm going to try to show as best as I can how to put these snaps in. You need 4 of these. They're like the smooth on the back, and then they have the part right here that everything will snap into. These are called the caps, and if you look on your pattern, they'll identify them. You need 4 of those. You also need 2 of these. I don't know if you can see them very well. These are called studs, and this is the part that kind of snaps into this part, and then these parts where they're flat on the front are called the sockets. So you need, again, 4 caps, 2 studs, and 2 sockets. So what I've done here is, this is my towel here. I've already measured in and up of where it's going to go with my friction pen. You can do it with your chalk pencil, whatever you have. And then I intersected the line so I see where the intersection is. Now I've used my seam ripper before, and I've just gone in gently with my seam ripper, and then when I go through, I just poke it, and then I just gently like kind of turn it and just rip very, very carefully because you don't want it too big. So I just rip what I think it will be enough. This part's a little bit harder because of the towel that's there, but I just try to rip very gently an opening that will allow one of the caps to go through, and that's the smooth side, and this is the part that needs to poke through. So I'm going to turn it. This is like the back, but when I fold it over, it will also be the front. And then I just need to find my opening, wherever that may be, and I don't think I found it. So I'm gonna try this. I got this precision ripper just from last week's show, and I'm gonna see if this will do it for me. I know I'm through. I feel it in the back. I just can't see where I've made my hole. That's interesting. All right. So I had to fiddle with it and just use my seam ripper very gently and my precision cutter, and I've got the part of it poking out there. So now I'm going to take one of my pieces, and this is the stud, and I'm going to turn it to the back. If you can see what the back looks like very well. That's the right side. That's the wrong side. I'm just going to lay the wrong side down and see if it will snap together. It'd be helpful when you're sewing not to put your sew your towel too far up, because it's really hard if you get through like, there it goes. And now we're going to repeat the process on the other side. So I've already marked that one there. I'm going to put my seam ripper through. Oh, see, I didn't put the towel up too far here. Just gently, I'm just going to gently rip. And I'm going to see if I made the hole. Yep, I made the hole big enough. So this one was much easier. It just popped right through. There it is. And then I'm going to take my other one that looks just like the other side. There it is. There's the back side. Kind of looks like a, and then I'm going to put it on. Oh, that one adhered nicely. Okay, so there's the back. So that one's installed. Now we have to do the top one so it can snap together. So how we do this is we fold the top down. Fold the top down and align it, and then you can mark it. All I do is take my seam ripper and I poke it through to where the middle, where that middle is in there. I can feel it with my finger, and then I just take my seam ripper and poke it in. You can mark it, and then I just seam rip a little bit on all sides. That should be enough. Then I take one of my caps, put it through. There's the smooth side, turn it over. Then I poke it through and make sure if you have threads in the way, get all the threads out of the way, because you don't want those in the way. There you go. So now it's cleanly poking through. So now I'm going to take one of these guys, which is the other piece. That's the back. That's the front. And I'm going to take the back and put it over that. And there it goes, snaps into place. So there's one done. I'm going to come over to the other side, fold that down where I want it, feel, and then take my seam ripper, poke it through, and then just gently rip a little bit. Alright, there we go. That should be enough. You can always do it more later. See if it'll poke through. Oh, there it goes. Make sure to move any of the threads. You don't want that in the way, so move all the threads there. There we go. And again, find the back, which looks like that. I think it looks like a steering wheel of a ship on the back side. And then just put the back side over the top of that and press it together. And you could hear, I hope you heard the nice snap. And then press it down. And that is how you install snaps. Now some patterns will have the measurement, like when I did the Dirty Dainties, it had the measurement for where each of the snaps was going to be placed. But on the Smitty Snap Towel here, that's how the snaps work. And I don't think it really, I mean, if you want it to look symmetrical, you would use the same pieces, you know, on the bottom and the top. But honestly, it wouldn't matter. It's just the caps, the smooth caps. You want to see them on the back side and the front, so when it's hanging, it looks pretty. Alright, so that is how you install the snaps. Hope that helps a little bit more. Just go really gentle with whatever tool that you're using, whether it's the precision ripper, I've got to practice more with this, and a little mat. I got both of these from the Quilted Cow, or just your handy dandy seam ripper. And sometimes if my seam ripper is not doing it, I will take a pair of scissors like this and open it up, and I will poke one end of my snip scissors through it and just gently kind of make a hole. But you do have to be careful, because if you go too large, it will start kind of pressing on your fabric, and you can see little ripples through it. So just be careful no matter what you use, and start small. You can always make something bigger rather than doing too much at once, and you can practice on other fabric too before, because you can take these apart. If you have enough strength or you have some tools, you can actually take these off after they're installed. So there you are. Happy sewing! Alright, and there you are. There's the outside of the towel. There's the snap. And make sure you put the smooth part, which is this part, through kind of the front of it, and that the snaps are there. So they all line up perfectly, and that is one beautiful looking towel. And there you are, the Smitty Snap Towel. Okay, I'm gonna go do the other one now.